Hello and welcome back to another special segment from the Sigma Central Europe Media Zone. I'm Ginevra Infascelli and I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Rob Procter, which is VP Game Development at Light & Wonder. How are you, Rob?
Hey, yes, good, thank you. Good to see you.
Amazing. So we know that Light & Wonder develops content, hardware, and systems that connect iconic titles across channels. What are the biggest technical or creative challenges in creating seamless multi-platform experience for players worldwide?
Yes, great question. One I've been asked many times because our omnichannel approach, our cross-channel content is really at the heart of what's made us so successful over the years. Therefore, we've put a lot of time and effort into really refining those processes. And I can say there's a lot of challenges all the way through from, as you mentioned there, the creative design aspect, how you take content from machines that are the size of a bed onto your mobile phone is quite challenging. So the creative and the assets and the artwork and how you transpose that game across is challenging and difficult. What I would say on the creative side is we've, I think over the last 2 or 3 years, really harnessed how we take the raw assets from our gaming team and bring them online in a more optimal way, not only for display, but also how we think about how the animations work, how transitions between base game and bonus game, how all that sort of intertwines. Again, without giving away the secret sauce, there's some tricks that we've pulled to make those games seem very seamless. But that's just one aspect, because then we have challenges with math and the math profile being very different in the gaming space to online. So essentially rewriting math a lot of the time to make it fit, but still trying to keep the core elements of the game. I think just, generally in terms of that transition of online land-based content to what we do in the iGaming space, the simple answer is there's not a solution to it that fits every game. Every game is new, every game is different, and we essentially approach them in a sense of how do we keep to the core mechanic, but also give the iGaming players what they want.
Passing on to responsible gaming, which is a cornerstone of Light & Wonder's mission, how do you integrate responsible gaming principles directly into game design without compromising the engagement of players and the entertainment value?
Yeah, again, something that's been hot on our agenda for forever, really. We are all about the games. That's the mantra at Light & Wonder. But we're also very, very focused on our players and sustainability. And also the understanding of regulation and player needs, and how do we protect players while still providing them with a good level of entertainment. Certainly from a game design perspective, it's one of the sort of first few things we consider when we're designing a piece of content is this something that's going to be fun for the player, be entertaining, but also that we're not essentially leading them down a path where we don't want them to be. And I think that manifests in a few different ways. Certainly the most being from a sort of visual perspective to the player. We don't try and falsify wins. We don't try and give them this feeling of false a sort of engagement where they're there for longer than they really want to be. We make sure that the player is essentially there to enjoy the content, to get the value out of content for themselves, hopefully to win. But not through any sort of false pretenses. They're there because they enjoy the content at the heart of it, and all the other regulatory things that go in the background are a given. That's our staple, but we try to go a bit beyond that.
Talking about the balance of analytics and creative intuition, how does player behavior data inform your game design decisions?
Hugely. We're in a very privileged position because at Light & Wonder, we are a game provider at our heart, but we're also one of the world's biggest aggregators of content. So we also take other providers, some of our biggest competitors, we have their content on our platform, and with the abundance of markets that we have and the volume of operators, we have a huge warehouse full of data that we can harvest. Certainly from a game design standpoint, we are now much more focused on specific market segments and how the data that we see back from that influences game design, whether it's themes, whether it's math, That could be volatility, hit rate frequencies, payout frequency, whether it's mechanic trends. I would say a lot of it nowadays for us is more data driven than anecdotal take a shot in the dark. Because we've seen in the past our biggest success has been when we've lent on data really heavily. So yeah, more and more. And again, we're in a very, very fortunate position where we have that minefield of data to pull on. And again, it's helping from an innovation perspective, but it's also really helping from a player engagement point of view as well.
Looking at emerging markets such as Italy, which is this year the house of Sigma Central Europe, what opportunities do you see for Light & Wonder to tailor content or platform experience to local player preferences?
Yeah, yes, very topical question. Being here in Rome, it's fantastic to be here and get sort of re-engage again with some of our biggest customers in the region, also across Europe. We've entered various new markets over the course of the last year or so. We've recently done Brazil, South Africa, with more to come. Imminently about to enter the Philippines with our new license being granted. So new markets is always hot on our agenda. Italy, I would class Italy as a new market. We've been live in here for forever. The interesting thing about Italy for us, I think, is the re-emergence and the focus we're putting back on the region. Italy is one of our key markets for next year. We really want to make statements in this market. And to the question around platform and enhancements for specific markets, we've done specific work for Italy to make our games more attractive, more playable, more appealing to players within this region. What's important to players here is they want fast load times, the games load quickly. They're responsive. They have all the right feature sets. The reel spin is nice. It's very smooth. Essentially, games that are easy to play and that really sort of encapsulate that entertainment piece. And that's something that we've put a lot of focus on internally, so that moving forward into 2026, we've got a real solid core offering for the Italian market in particular.
Really interesting. So let's talk about the hot topic of this conference, which is AI, of course. What innovations or technologies, such as AI and immersive storytelling or new interactive mechanics, do you see as transformative for the gaming experiences Light & Wonder delivers?
Yeah, AI in particular is, it's a hot topic here. I think it's a hot topic within every business at the moment, whether you are on the operator side, whether you're a supplier side, whether you're an affiliate, no matter what role you play within this industry, AI seems to be the top of everyone's agenda. It's not new for us. We've been on the AI train for well over sort of 18 months. We've been leveraging it internally for things like mood boards, concepting, all the way through to looking at how it can help us in terms of math profile and testing and QA. So we're well on the journey. What I would say, I think, is while we are well on that journey still, in my opinion, really has only just started. And I think we've got a long way to go, as does everyone. I think we're starting to see the trends coming through, and we're certainly starting to see a lot more studios rise very quickly. And I would attribute that increase in new studios as well to the use of AI and how quickly they can generate the core assets. But in our world, certainly in my world of Light & Wonder and content, we're a premium supplier. We only supply the best games, the best content. We're one of the top providers globally. And that comes at a cost of also true innovation and the human touch. That's where the quality comes in. And we still don't see that level of quality from pure AI-generated games. I can pick an AI-generated game over one of mine in an instant because you can just see the level of care and attention that goes into the game. So the mix is all important. And at the minute, we're still premium. We're still looking at quality over quantity and trying to really appeal to players.
Now, anticipating player expectations, how do you see it evolving over the next 3 to 5 years, and how is Light & Wonder preparing to design games that meet those future demands?
Yeah, who knows? That's a very good question. I don't actually know the answer. Look, I think we've seen the emergence of different types of content over the last few years or so, away from a traditional slot, more into, whether it be crash style games, whether it be arcade style games, whether it be old school legacy games that are starting to re-emerge back into the market. And I think, when we look at it, we also have to take a view of we are a global provider, and what works in one market and what players want from content in the US or in Brazil or in Italy, UK varies so much. So trying to find one sweet spot, I think, is very tough. I think it's the ones who are going to win is the ones who've got the finger on the pulse in most markets and also adaptable to change. If they see a trend come in, then they can pick up and go on it quickly. You just have to walk around with the many halls. This place is huge. I don't think I've found everything yet either. But when you walk around, there's a real diverse mix of new content, new ideas, and 1 in 10 may work. But that one that does work, how quickly can you sort of get on that and innovate and push the boundaries on those things further? So I think it'll be different types of content. But there is still innovation in terms of tweaks and tweaking classics and tweaking known mechanics that are already resonating with players, but just dialing them up ever so slightly and sort of continuing that player journey.
This was all for today. Thank you very much, Robert, for your time.
No problem.
This was Ginevra Infascelli from Sigma Central Europe Media Zone, and please stay tuned for more. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, and you. Thank you.